So first of all, a huge thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here with us today. I am very pleased to have Khun Chartsiri here with us to honor us with his presence and also to share some of his insights with us. You might already be familiar, Khun Chartsiri is the president of Bangkok Bank, the largest commercial bank in Thailand and one of the biggest regional banks in Southeast Asia. Under Khun Chartsiri's leadership, Bangkok Bank has evolved its business and been actively driving initiatives around sustainability within the banking sector. Today, we have the opportunity to hear from Khun Chartsiri himself on how Bangkok Bank has evolved his business and how they are winning the sustainable finance race. And with that, Khun Chartsiri, if you could share a bit about your perspective. So sustainable finance is a relatively new but fast evolving concept. And in the latest Sustainable Debt Monthly published by Bloomberg Net on 14th of July, sustainable debt issuance in June totaled 131 billion. This huge number seems big, but if you put it in perspective, it just makes up 3% of all global debt issuance for the month. Now, how do you see sustainable finance role in Asia, specifically Southeast Asia, especially if we compare that with other regions like Europe?
Different regions have different challenges, and Asia and ASEAN also have its own path to take. Yes, I think many of the industry and establishment in the US and Europe have been there for quite some time, whereas many of the production facilities in Asia and ASEAN are relatively new. So we have to make the best use of the facilities already have, how to do the transition, to reduce the carbon emission, and to gain energy efficiency. At the same time, how can we do the transformation so that the business model for the new business would also move in line with the sustainability. We could see that over the last 10 years, there has significant shift in the renewable energy, and significant investment have taken place in ASEAN. Yes, with a drop of the solar energy facilities as well as wind turbine, we see significant increase, more than 10 times in, say, between 2019 to 2022. And the beneficial process has been in Vietnam in a significant manner, together with other countries in Thailand, in the Philippines, and Indonesia, for instance. Furthermore, in the geothermal, Indonesia also has moved on geothermal, made the best use of their natural resources, and produce power from that purpose.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you made, Khun Chartsiri, about geothermal. If you could share more about how that has actually impacted Bangkok Bank's focus and strategy.
Yes, geothermal has a significant potential, and the Philippines and Indonesia have probably among the largest deposits, especially in Indonesia, and there's significant improvement can be done further. I think in the Philippines is about some 15% of the production of power from geothermal, whereas in Indonesia maybe about 5-6%. And so there's still much remain to be able to explore and move further.
Right. Well, that definitely represents a lot of opportunity, especially for Bangkok Bank. But moving closer to home ground, Thailand. So this quarter, Bank of Thailand published phase 2 of its taxonomy, which now covers agriculture, construction and real estate manufacturing, and waste management. So how have Bangkok Bank been preparing for the regulatory changes?
Yes, our central bank, the Bank of Thailand, have been working with the Thai Bank Associations and come up with the taxonomy. Yes, as we mentioned, move on to the phase 2, and how can we move from the energy and transportation now to agriculture, to manufacturing, and also to waste management, so that we would move for the sustainability, also for carbon reduction, and also less green gas emission.
Right. And Khun Chartsiri, you also mentioned the shift of the focus for Bangkok Bank over the last 10 years to solar wind turbine. So have you seen these regulatory requirements impact the financing of these different type of renewables?
Yes, I think we see more intensity in this area, especially now that the cost has been reduced significantly. together with the cost of the energy, battery storage,
Yep.
that also make it even more feasible. In Vietnam, for example, I think they have to set a target of by 2030, 50% of the household and office would have the solar roof.
Yes.
I think that's also something quite significant.
Great. And kind of going back to the phase 2 focus, how is Bangkok Bank, if you could share, supporting its clients on their transition journey for those in the high emission sectors like construction, for example?
Yes, the central bank has asked banks to work with our customers. So the 4 or 5 industries have been selected, as mentioned earlier. And how can we provide them with greater awareness of the necessity of the transition and also the business transformation? And how can we provide some of the assessment of their impact? And how can we provide the support financially so that to make that feasible for our customers. And these are the areas where we have been working with our customers in different areas. Agriculture, for example, because of they can use more technology to help save some of and make use of the heat and so forth, and create better efficiency, or the methane emission can convert into electricity or some biogas, for example.
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting case study of how Bangkok Bank has helped its client. Can you share other challenges that Bangkok Bank faces in this transition finance journey, and how has Bangkok Bank tried to overcome them?
Yes, this is quite a challenge area. I think for scope 1 and scope 2 is fine. And for scope 3, how to work with our customers for long-term sustainability and also the medium-term to longer-term zero carbon emission. And that is quite an important part.
Yes.
And I think we have to work with our customers since the draft of the Climate Change Act in Thailand is under consideration, so maybe in effect in 1 to 2 years. How can we make sure that we would be able to work with our customers to move accordingly? Because in that act also has many components, including the carbon emission trading, as well as some of the measures that we have to be able to disclose.
Understood. And Khun Chartsiri, kind of along this same line of thought, if you could share some specific client examples, so that the audience can be more educated in this area and also understand what are some of the client examples that Bangkok Bank has been working on.
Some of our clients have moved away from the fossil fuel and move into the more renewable energies, and so make investment in the battery, especially for the EV and especially for the truck. So that make a shift, and many of this has been done over the years. So it's not a short-term basis, but it takes 5 to 10 years, for example. Some of our other customers make use of their resources, and as mentioned earlier, in the geothermal, and for the energy production, and eventually have a potential for the hydrogen production. And I can see that cross-country in the region, I think Indonesia, Singapore also have an agreement for the renewable partnership.
Yes.
And I think probably will be quite significant. And Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia also have arranged for some of the carbon trading standardization, which I think will be quite important. How can we work with our customers?
That's great. And thanks, Khun Chartsiri, for sharing so much about the opportunities that we have ahead of us. So in closing, if you could share some of the lessons Southeast Asia region can learn from Europe, and how do you see ASEAN, particularly Thailand, leading the way?
I think different countries, different regions have their own characteristics. And I think for ASEAN region, we have to find our way to work closely together and find effective solutions to help for the sustainability and also for the climate change impact.
And is this the key message you would like to leave the audience with today?
Yes, I think we should work closely together to achieve those targets and for our better world and also for the sustainability.
Thank you very much, Khun Chartsiri. If you could join me in thanking Khun Chartsiri for sharing his insights.